Welcome to the I Can Do Anything podcast. My name is Colin, and today I'm going to be talking about NBA basketball games from Monday and Tuesday. On Monday, the Philadelphia 76ers played the Raptors, Blazers played the Nuggets, and then on Tuesday, the Celtics and the Bucks, and the Rockets and the Warriors. But first, this episode of the I Can Do Anything podcast is brought to you by Witch Doctor. With Witch Doctor, you can cast the spirits out of your life with their easy-to-use mobile app, available on all your devices and across mobile platforms. The app offers a wide variety of easy-to-perform spells that can help cure the most complex of issues in your life to the most simple. The app is actually really cool. I downloaded it and was able to get rid of a spirit that was turning my Himalayan salt lamp on and off in the middle of the night. I sleep with the Himalayan salt lamp on, very dimmed, and I would wake up in the morning and it would be off, and then I'd come back during the day or after work or whatever, and it would be on, and it was really weird. So I downloaded the app and was able to get that funky little spirit out of my life. It even has stories from witch history, like the story of Cybele Leek, one of the most famous modern witches, and excerpts from her books, such as Diary of a Witch, or the story of Anne Boleyn, the second wife of Henry VII of England, and her history with witchcraft that led to her beheading in 1536. Witch Doctor even has additional in-app purchases like crystal balls, pointed hats, broomsticks, black cloaks, wands, and potions. Download Witch Doctor today, but be careful. You never know what magic powers you might find. And by Blind Acquisition, the leading dating site for those who are looking for a mystery. Blind Acquisition provides some of the best results among similar dating apps. Dating can be difficult, and many of us are very picky about who we will be seen with in public. Let Blind Acquisition set you up on a blind date for the ages. Download the Blind Acquisition app today on your mobble device. Set up your profile, and your dream date you've been waiting for will be lined up before you know it. Okay, so the first game from Monday night, the 76ers against the Raptors. Final score was 94-89. 76ers won in Toronto. It's kind of amazing what one game can do for the narrative of a series when it gets to this point in the season. After game one, a lot of the talk was, wow, the Raptors look so much better than the Sixers. But the series thus far has been in Toronto. And then in game two, the 76ers come in and win by 5. And all of a sudden, they've stolen a game on the road. And that's important for a 7-game series in the NBA playoffs. It's amazing how the narrative can change over one game. It went from the Raptors looked way better than the Sixers, and if the Sixers don't get it together, this series could be over quick. And one game later, the 76ers have stolen a game on the road. And this is, as I predicted, this is going to be, I mean, it doesn't take a genius to predict this, but this is going to be a really good series. Now it heads to Philly for game 3. I believe that's not tonight. That's tomorrow night, Thursday night. My biggest takeaways from the game as I look at the box score, Jimmy Butler was much improved, had 30 points on 9 of 22. 40% shooting from the field is pretty good. 40% from 3, 4 of 10. Grabbed 10 rebounds and had 5 assists. So a good game for Jimmy Butler. He struggled in game 1, especially guarding Kawhi Leonard, and he did a lot better job on Kawhi. Kawhi finished with 35, shot 54% from the field, 3 of 10 from 3, 7 rebounds, 6 assists. So still a really good night for Kawhi Leonard. A little bit above, well, pretty significantly above his season average of probably, I don't remember what Kawhi was averaging, maybe 24 or 25 points per game on the season. But yeah, a good turnaround for Jimmy Butler, and he was a catalyst for the Sixers. Kawhi's points per game is 31.3. Oh, that's the postseason. Wow, his postseason points per game is 31.3. I'm not going to try to look up his regular season from his regular season points per game from this season. But Jimmy Butler did a much better job, and his offense was going too. Joel Embiid only finished with 12 points. Now, he was nursing a sickness of some sorts. But yeah, 12 points for Joel Embiid. That could be the biggest takeaway. The 76ers got 30 from Jimmy Butler, but they got 9 from Tobias Harris, shot 27% from the field, 20% from three, 1 of 5. Joel Embiid only scored 12 points and was 2 of 7, 28% from the field, 0 of 3 from 3. JJ Redick, their best shooter, only had 11 points, was 4 of 10, 40% from the field, but 2 of 8, 25% from 3. Ben Simmons only had 6 and 5 assists, 7 rebounds. And then they got 13 from Ennis off the bench, which was good. He made some really good plays. There was a series where he had like a couple of just a string of really good plays. He made an and one, and then I think he got a block on one end or took a charge or something like that. But yeah, they really didn't get much from the supporting cast, and they were still able to win a game for today's NBA standard, a very low scoring game by today's NBA standards. So that's a bit. I think that's my biggest takeaway is that Jimmy Butler scored 30, and their other big four just didn't play that well. Joel Embiid had a really big, crucial basket, really fundamentally sound, just determined basket to seal the win at the end. He just kind of you could kind of see it. He just like, okay, I'm going to score this on this possession, and did that and faked out. He had a great little spin, and then shot fake that faked out 2 defenders and went up and under and finished right at the basket to seal the win. Pascal Siakam had a good night. He had 21 points on 9 of 25 shooting for the Raptors. 36% from the field's not great. 2 of 7 from three's not great. 7 rebounds, 3 assists, 4 steals though. He does a lot for them. It's kind of amazing, his emergence. He does so much, just so many little things, even stuff that doesn't show up on the stat sheets. He was big for them down the stretch as they did mount a little bit of a comeback, and they had a shot at the game because of Pascal Siakam. He grabbed a offensive rebound that got them. I think they got Kyle Lowry a 3. Kyle Lowry played pretty well. He had 20 points, 7 of 16, 43% from the field, 5 rebounds, 5 assists, 3 turnovers. But they're not getting much off the bench either. They had Serge Ibaka play 13 minutes, Van Vliet played 18 minutes, Powell played 15, and Jody Meeks played 1 minute. So they're going 9 guys deep, but only 8 guys deep. But they only got 5 points off the bench. And that's not going to win you playoff games. It's just not. I think that's about all I got. You know, what was the final score? It was a 5-point game, but it was a 3-point game, and then right in the final seconds, Danny Green had a really open 3, and Danny Green's probably he is the Raptors' best 3-point shooter. And he had a great look at it. He only had 3 points on the night, 1 of 8 from the field, 1 of 6 from 3. But that could have tied the game and sent it to overtime. The Sixers would have had another shot at it, but then he missed it and they fouled, and whoever went to the line and knocked down both free throws to make it a 5-point win. But for a pretty off night for a majority of the Raptors, it really wasn't that much of an off night. I mean, they didn't get any bench production, but Kawhi Leonard had 35, Siakam had 21, and Kyle Lowry had 20. And the 76ers only got production from one of their stars and were able to win a game on the road and split the split the Raptors' opening home games, and they may have taken home court advantage with that win. I'm not sure how that works. I've never really understood that, but a really huge fucking win for the 76ers. So on to game one, the next game on Monday night between the Blazers and the Nuggets. The Nuggets ended up winning this one 121-113. I didn't have many takeaways from this game. This was a fun game to watch, though. Both teams very methodical offensively, but still very fast-paced. Like it kind of reminds me just of the way that the Spurs played, in the late 2000s, early teen 2000s. I don't know how that works. But it's a little more fast-paced. It's just not quite as boring. They've got some star power to make it fun. Jokic is so good. Jokic just completely dictates their offense. He completely dictates the entire tempo of the game. He finished with 37 on 61% shooting from the field, 11 of 18, 3 of 5 from 3, 60% from 3 for a fucking legit 7-footer. 9 rebounds, 6 assists, 2 turnovers. The announcers during this game made mention of a statistic about Jokic's turnovers. It was something like, it was when he got his first turnover in the game. They said that in the last, or maybe it was all the playoff games or something like that, he didn't have a single turnover. And like I said, he dictates their offense. Like he is kind of their point guard in some ways. Like Jamal Murray is definitely their point guard, and he had a great game too. He had 23 points on 8 of 15 shooting, 53% from the field, 3 of 6 from 3, 8 assists, only 1 turnover. But Jokic he kind of is their point guard. Like he brings the ball up the floor sometimes. He'll run their sets from the top of the key and then get into the post from there. But it all starts with Jokic. I'm just amazed at how well he dictates the tempo. Paul Millsap played really well and has played well thus far in the playoffs for them. He's had a great season in general. He finished with 19 on 58% shooting, 7 of 12. Grabbed 6 rebounds, but he does a lot, kind of like Pascal Siakam does for the Raptors. He does a lot that goes unseen. Paul Millsap is just a really, really great playoff piece for any team to have. Gary Harris had 11 in a fucking beautiful reverse layup that he went up like damn near just inside the line of the paint on one side and went up and drew contact and then just hung there in the air. And you could see Plumlee, Mason Plumlee, was wide open, like right in front of him, and Gary Harris is double clutching, and he's got the ball like down by his feet with his knees up by his chin as he takes the contact from, I don't know who it was, but he could have just dropped the ball off to Plumlee and it would have been an easy basket. And instead, he just hangs there for a little bit more. Plumlee honestly could have just taken it from him. He was right there and no one was around him. And then Harris just kind of hung there a little longer and put some spin on it. That thing was fucking fantastic. They do on NBA TV, they do a segment. I don't know whose segment it is. I want to say that it's, I don't know whose segment it is, but they do an Under the Rim segment for all the best finishes or plays that aren't dunks, anything under the rim, fantastic layups. And that would probably be, I would assume that's probably up there for under the rim finishes of the year. It was really, really pretty. But Jamal Murray, I already said that Jamal Murray played pretty well. They, like I talked about with Dobb, they went 9 deep over 15 minutes. Monte Morris played 15 minutes. Will Barton played 15 minutes. Mason Plumlee played 24, and Malik Beasley played 27 minutes off the bench. I think this is a thing that goes against conventional wisdom when it comes down to playoff time in the NBA. I think most people, like Dobb, think that as the playoffs come, you shrink your bench and you just go with what you know. But this is the Nuggets. This is what the Nuggets know. These guys are reliable. Trey Lyles has had a pretty good year for the Nuggets, and they've really throughout the year relied on their depth to win them a lot of games, and it's gotten them the seeding that they got in the playoffs. But he's not playing. He didn't play at all on Monday night. Juancho Hernangomez didn't play at all either, and he's gotten a pretty significant minutes throughout the regular season. I would say he probably averaged somewhere between 10 and 17 minutes per game in the regular season. And the guys that they are playing, Beasley, Plumlee, Barton, and Morris, like I talked about, and like a lot of people are talking about, those interchangeable guard parts are going to be a really big factor. I think that they're going to need all of the stamina that they can get in this Portland series, especially with Portland reeling from some injuries. Enes Kanter's playing through that shoulder injury, but had 26 points on the game, was 11 of 14, 78% from the field, had 7 rebounds, and really didn't let up anything. He guarded, I believe he guarded Jokic for a majority of the game, and you're not going to stop Jokic, but he did a pretty good job on him for the most part. McCollum had 16 for the Blazers. Lillard had 39 on 57% shooting, so continues to play really, really well. And this was a really great game, and this series again is going to be really, really great down the stretch. They need a little more production from Harkless and Aminu, who only had 2 points and shot the ball pretty poorly from the field. And turned the ball over far too much for how little they handle the ball. They both had 3 turnovers. So they're going 5 guys. They're going 5 guys deep into the bench. Rodney Hood played 17 minutes. Myers Leonard 12 minutes. Seth Curry 15. Zach Collins 19, and Evan Turner 10. So this is a battle of the bench teams. These are the 2 deepest teams in the NBA, and the most interchangeable teams in the NBA. These are the 2 most team-oriented teams in the NBA. They're the complete antithesis of the Rockets and James Harden ISO offense. Like these guys, this game was really fun to watch, and this series is going to continue to be really great. Let's see. I think that's about all I got for that game. I look forward to game 2 tonight of that series. Before I talk about Tuesday's game, I need to tell you about Ludus. Selling tickets can be easy, so you can focus on what truly matters, your production. The I Can Do Anything podcast is powered by Ludus, built from the ground up for a high school theater director. Ludus is simple and free online ticket sales for K through 12 schools. With a customized ticketing portal, Ludus offers great customization features. Choose your own unique domain, pick custom colors to match your organization, and even build a meaningful splash page with the drag and drop editor. Take control of your ticket sales with the advanced control panel tools. Add shows and showtimes. Search for tickets, find patron data in seconds, create multiple admin users, and issue exchanges and refunds at the click of a button. One of the best features Ludus has to offer is the ability to generate detailed reports, view revenue data broken down by day, manipulate your data to answer questions about your sales, and export your data for future use. Ludus also offers powerful reserved seating. Easily let your patrons choose their own seats for your reserved seating shows. Upload your seating chart using our drag and drop maker. Add sections, rows, tables. Choose premium seating, and general admission shows are also possible. Keep track of student sales by simply adding student ledgers. Each student receives a Ludus account and special sales code that can be applied to any order. When patrons purchase their tickets, they have the ability to print their tickets at home, have them digitally sent to their email for use on mobile devices, or mark them to be picked up at will call. With Ludus, customer service is a breeze. Oftentimes, it's nice to talk to a real person who understands what your job consists of. Ludus offers real-time support through their chat widget, step-by-step guides, videos, and an 888 phone number. Ludus, since its creation or founding in 2015, has sold over 1 million tickets Visit Ludus.com and start selling tickets today with Ludus's forever 100% free guarantee to your program. That's LUDUS.com. Okay, Tuesday night's games. The Boston Celtics lost to the Milwaukee Bucks 102-123. So this one was the complete opposite of game one. It just completely flip-flopped. But kind of like in the other series, in the Raptors 76ers series, the Celtics still were able to steal a game in their visitingness. They were able to I was just looking at the audio waveforms over here and got completely distracted. So they were able to steal a game on the road against the 1 seed in the East. Antetokounmpo finished with 29 points, 10 rebounds. He was great. And like I said, it was kind of the complete opposite of game one of this series. I didn't even watch the last 8 to 10 minutes just because it was Brad Stevens put in his subs. So it was pretty much over most of the fourth quarter, actually. But let's see. So the Celtics got 9 from Irving, and he was fantastic in game one. Just didn't play well at all. 9 points, 4 of 18 shooting, 22% from the field, 1 of 5 from 3, 5 rebounds, 4 assists, 3 turnovers. Jaylen Brown had 16, Horford had 15, Morris had 17, but Tatum, even worse than Kyrie, had 5 points on 20% shooting from the field. Just not a good night for the Celtics. So they're going... Well, garbage time changed a little bit. 3 other guys played in garbage time. So they go, generally speaking, they go 8 deep. And I've talked about this before. Those 8 guys are pretty solid 8. Baines and Hayward and Rozier off the bench. But, yeah, just not a good night for the Celtics at all. I didn't even really realize the scoring discrepancies that they had. Antetokounmpo finished with 29. Shot 46% from the field, 2 of 4 from 3. That's important. If he can just shoot 3 or 4 threes and make 2 or 3 of them, or even just make 1 or 2. If you shoot 3, make 1. If you shoot 4, make 2. That can open up the floor for him significantly. Went to the free throw line, took 18 free throws on the night. He does an amazing job at just attacking the basket and putting pressure on whoever's guarding him and going to the free throw line. He had 9 rebounds, 4 assists, and here Chris Middleton played really well. Eric Bledsoe played really well too. They both shot the ball in the 50s percentage-wise. Bledsoe was 3 of 5 from 3. Middleton was 7 of 10 from 3. Chris Middleton, he was great. He was knocking down all kinds of threes from all over the floor and really spaces them out really well. So Brook Lopez finished with 10 points. He was 3 of 10 from the field, 3 of 8 from 3. So the only shots he made were threes. He went to the free throw line and made 1 of 2 free throws. He grabbed 4 rebounds, and he's 7 foot. He had 1 assist. But literally, Brook Lopez is a fucking catch-and-shoot guy now. Brook Lopez is a catch-and-shoot, 7-foot, legit center. He may be the very first ever catch-and-shoot center. Because they don't even run anything for him. They don't run shit through him in the post. He fucking catches and shoots. It's weird. He'll screen and hang out on the perimeter and catch and shoot threes. And normally he shoots a little better than 3 of 8. There's a reason that he's got the green light to do it because he's shot really well this season. But it's amazing to me that Brook Lopez is a catch and shoot 7-foot center. How much does Brook Lopez weigh? Brook Lopez is a big guy. 7 foot, 270. Catch and shoot, baby. I thought I was cracking up during this game. He only took threes. He went to the free throw line, so he must have taken a field goal that wasn't a 3 because he only shot 2 free throws. But Brook Lopez is a goddamn catch and shoot 7-foot center. I just thought it was hilarious. Let me look over my notes from this game. Giannis Antetokounmpo travels a lot. I know this is the NBA, and in the in the 2000s in general, the early 2000s, they didn't call much travels like ever, and it's bad how much Antetokounmpo travels. Like, there's some pretty obvious ones, and they're all on his Euros where he attacks the basket. Because the steps are so big, you'd think that they'd see it. But he gets away with travels every game that I've watched him play. It's kind of fascinating. And the guys in the other team are like, yo, like, he just clearly took 3 Euro steps. You're not going to call that? Chris Webber said something in this game. I talked about here I am talking about Chris Webber again. Chris Webber said that something about the lack of star power in the playoffs. I don't even remember what he said or what he said after that. But he just mentioned that there was a lack of star power in the NBA playoffs this year. And I know that he's just saying it without saying it, but he's saying that LeBron's not in the playoffs. But there is, coming from a LeBron fan, a huge one, there is not a lack of star power in this NBA playoffs. The Boston Celtics have either the one or the two, probably the second best point guard in the league, Kyrie Irving. They've got a budding superstar in Jason Tatum. And then the Bucks have Antetokounmpo, the MVP of the league. The Houston Rockets have James Harden, last year's MVP, a potential MVP this year. If it were up to me, he wouldn't be. But there's no lack of star power on the Rockets. Chris Paul, a bona fide NBA star for the last 15 plus years. The Golden State Warriors, do I even need to tell you who the stars are on the Golden State Warriors? The Blazers, Damian Lillard, that 37-foot jump shot to send out Russell Westbrook, a star. Paul George, a star. Nikola Jokic, a possible MVP candidate. Fucking star. Jamal Murray, a budding young star. What are you fucking talking about, Chris Webber? I get it. LeBron's not in the playoffs, and I'm sad too. But there is not a lack of star power in this NBA playoffs. Malcolm Brogdon, they talked about him a little bit on the telecast, and the Bucks are going to be real dangerous when they get him back. They played like shit in game 1. They played great in game 2, but they split at home, and the Celtics. I don't fucking know about the home court advantage thing, but again, this is gonna be a great fucking. These series are all gonna be incredible. They're all gonna go to 6 or 7 games. I think that's all I got for that game. I'll move on to the Rockets and the Warriors, but before I do talk about game 2 of the Rockets Warriors, Dob and I had just watched the game 1 of Rockets Warriors on Sunday when we recorded Monday's podcast, and we both fell asleep during the game. So I don't know that we realized the magnitude of this whole verticality landing spot for shooters. I just thought it was that last play that Harden took a 3. And here's what I'll say about it. I just have a question for James Harden. Do you not realize that there are 30 fucking cameras? There's 30 plus cameras in the arena, not to mention everyone's smartphone in the stands filming on Snapchat. There are 30 plus cameras in the arena. Before the game starts, they're rolling while you're shooting jump shots in warm-up. Even before warm-up, when you go out on the court, people know what your jump shot looks like, dude. When you take jump shots and people aren't around in the game even, your jump shot doesn't look like that. You're trying to draw contact. it's so weird to me that the Rockets are so invested in the off the court stuff. You're doing a study or some sort of research. How can you quantify whether or not a referee, I don't know what the fuck they did for research to quantify that the Warriors get an advantage from the referees, but how do you quantify something like that? Refereeing is largely judgment. It's not objective. It's subjective, and I don't know how they put together a study that says it just sounds so petty. It sounds like a James Harden led team thing to do. It seems like James Harden is more worried about making threes, or he's less worried about making threes and more worried about trying to draw fouls on threes. I get it. 3 free throws is probably easier or a better way to get 3 points than a 3 or a contested 3. So, yeah, I mean, James Harden goes to the free throw line enough. It's amazing to me that the Rockets are more worried about trying to draw threes or trying to draw fouls than make the actual threes. And the landing space thing for shooters is obviously important. We don't want our stars to be injured, but I think it's important that the defender have a spot to land too. I've seen a number of cases where the shooter goes up first, the defender jumps second, they contest the shot, the shooter comes down, and the defender lands on the shooter's foot, and they get injured the same way Kawhi Leonard did a couple years ago. But James Harden, dude, there's cameras all over the place. They got cameras in your practice facility when you're practicing jump shots. We've seen what your jump shot looks like when no one's guarding you, and that you don't jackknife your legs out. It's so fucking annoying to me. Just play the game, dude. Just play the fucking game. You're gonna lose. If you're next game 3, if you're listening to this, watch the Rockets and the Warriors and how different it is, how they get their points. The Warriors are ball screen, and if you commit 2 to Steph off the ball screen, Draymond's probably setting the screen. He'll dump it off to Draymond, and it's pass, wide open 3. Pass, cutter for a dunk. Pass, alley-oop up to Iguodala. It's so fluid. It's so open and simple. It's fucking beautiful. And then you watch the Rockets, and they set a ball screen, and they get a switch. They're trying to get what's his name on the Warriors. They're now starting center. I can never remember this guy's name. He's from Milwaukee. He looks dopey as hell, and they're trying to get a switch on him, and they do most of the time, and it's a really great matchup. Harden blew by him on a number of occasions and made him look quite stupid and like he was basically standing still. Oh, Kevon Looney isn't starting. He's coming off the bench. So they're going small. They're starting Iguodala, Durant, Green, Thompson, and Curry. But they were trying to get a lot of switches on Kevon Looney whenever he was in the game, and it worked. James Harden, like I said, made him look like he was standing still. And that is their offense, though. Like, they just try to get the switch, and then James Harden dribbles the ball 16 times. And then a lot of times he scores, and a lot of times he takes horrible shots, and no one else on the offense has any fluidity to their game at all. James Harden missed some time, but was their leading scorer, had 29 points, 9 of 19 from the field. That's a good percentage. 47% from the field is pretty good. 3 of 7 from 3, 42%. That's pretty good too. That's better than what he averages. He was 8 of 9 from the free throw line. That's probably the least amount of free throws he's taken all season in a game. He had 6 rebounds, 4 assists, but 6 turnovers. Chris Paul was pretty underwhelming. He got a lot of his points in garbage time towards the end when it was pretty much over in the last minute and a half. He finished with 18 on 42% shooting, 2 of 7 from 3, 28% from threes. Not very good. 6 assists, 4 turnovers, 7 rebounds, 3 steals. They got double figures from everybody in their starting lineup. Austin Rivers played 24 minutes and had 14 points. He was a big spark for them off the bench when the Warriors got out to a good start. And then Harden got hit in the eye and went out for a while with that eye injury. He came in and played really well. He shot the ball well, 62% from the field, 4 of 6 from 3, 66% from 3, but they didn't get really anything other than that from him off the bench. Gerald Green had 6 in 10 minutes. They play a lot of guys too. Wow. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 guys off the bench, but only 2 of them played more than 10 minutes. Gerald Green played 10 minutes and Austin Rivers played 24. Shumpert played 4, Fareed 5, Nene 4, and House Jr. played 5 minutes. But I don't know, man. Just watch the Rockets play and then watch the Warriors. Just watch their offensive possessions and see how much different they look. The Warriors is wide open and there's ball movement and everybody's touching it and they're dissecting the defense before it even happens. It's like, okay, you're going to double here, we're going to drop it off here, and if you're not going to commit, I'll just score, and if you're going to commit, I'll pass it, and if you commit to that guy, I'll swing it around 2 more times and we'll get a wide open 3. There was one occasion in the end of the first quarter when, you know how Curry does his little where he'll drive, or he'll drive and kick, or he'll just kick it to somebody, even if I guess it's mostly off drives. He'll drive and kick, and then he'll relocate and swing around to the corner. There was one occasion in the first quarter, it's right towards the end of the first quarter, where Curry did that, and McKinney was standing in the corner, and Curry literally, you could hear it pretty clear on the broadcast. Curry literally yelled "Get out of there!" something like that. Get out! And just McKinney frantically got the hell off the corner, and then Curry got to the corner and took a contested 3 because it took McKinney a second to get out of the way, and he set a screen, but I guess it wasn't contested. McKinney set a pretty good screen on that play, but I just thought it was really funny that Curry's demanding players to get out of his corner. It's hey, this is my play. This is my thing that I do. I drive and I kick, I relocate to the corner, and we get great corner 3s. But McKinney was, obviously you want Curry taking a 3 over McKinney. It wouldn't take an idiot to figure that out. But McKinney was more open. If he would have just kicked it, or if he would have drive and kicked to the wing, and then the wing guy would have just quick swung it to McKinney, he would have had a much more in rhythm shot than Curry ended up taking. I just thought it was really funny that he literally yelled at him to get the fuck out of my corner. Hey dude, this is what I do. I drive and I kick and I relocate. McKinney might not have a spot on the roster next season because of that one mistake. No, I'm just kidding. That's not really Steph Curry's nature. And that's kind of why I thought it was interesting, because it doesn't really seem like his type of, something he would really do. The other thing I have noted was the double tech that Ed Malloy gave to Nene and Dre. I thought that was so stupid. Reggie talked about it. Reggie Miller talked about how it would probably be rescinded, but Ed Malloy strikes me as kind of I don't like him. Don't like the way he looks. He looks like Comey, the former director of the FBI or something like that, the guy that Trump was at war with or whatever. He reminds me of that guy. He's tall and kind of lanky sorta, and just kind of looks kind of awkward, not proportionate, kind of like Kevin McHale is unproportionate, and just structured like an odd looking human being. Ed Malloy just rubs me the wrong way. He's always throwing people out of games and giving technical. He just kind of strikes me as a pussy. I'll just put it frankly. He kind of strikes me as a pussy. And 2 big fellas were just wrestling down low for box out position. And then they were in each other's faces, and then Malloy steps in the middle and gives them technicals. It's like, dude, they didn't do anything. I get if you're trying to control the game and not let things escalate, that's one thing. Just give them a warning. I don't know. Maybe the warning is a technical. I just thought it was rather quick. I don't know whether or not the league rescinded it or not. Let me go to the NBA homepage and see if there's any stories about that. I would guess it's probably not. So some injury reports that the homepage does have. Harden suffers lacerated eyelid, and Curry dislocates finger on offhand. Let me read this story on Harden's lacerated left eyelid. I saw a little notification pop up on my phone that said that he couldn't really even see. So Harden takes Harden got poked in the left eye. Rockets coach Mike D'Antoni was not sure what Harden's status would be for the rest of the game, but said he was bleeding from the eye during his between-quarter interview with TNT's Allie LaForce. See, I skip through all that as I watch the replays because I can't watch these games. They're on too late for me, so I watch all the replays the following day, and I skip through all the free throws and timeouts and all that shit and just watch these games real quick. Harden returned to the Rockets bench during a timeout with 9:38. You know what? I don't care about any of this. I want to know what his status is going to be. I can see nothing. Barely can see. It hurt, Harden said. I could hardly see. Just trying to go out there and do what I can to help my teammates. It's pretty blurry right now. Hopefully it gets better day to day. By the game end, Green said he made a mistake and hit Harden in his eye. He checked on the Rockets star after the game, and in his post-game news conference said it's not about hurting anybody out here. So many times people forget what a guy has. When a guy has an injury, you live with that every day, every second of every day. It's not just about this game. If his eye is messed up, he's got to live with that every day. So I just wanted to check on him. Well, good for you, Draymond. That tells me nothing. That tells me nothing about his future status. It won't matter. The Rockets they're toast, dude. It doesn't matter. They might have a better chance if he's not playing. In my humble opinion, it probably wouldn't hurt their chances all that much. And then what about Curry's dislocated finger? I doubt this will be a non-factor. I very, very much doubt it. Wait, what? I just went back to the homepage, and Thompson regrets his dig at Oracle fans is in the latest around the NBA. Is this from months ago? That was so long ago. What the hell just happened? There we go. Curry dislocates finger on offhand. I like I said, I highly, highly doubt that this will play much of a factor throughout the rest of this series and throughout the playoffs. It's a non-story. I'm not even going to read that. One of their latest around the NBA stories is Giannis does Curry shimmy after a three. Pacers unsure when Oladipo will return. That's unfortunate. All right. I think that's about all I got. We got 9 o'clock Blazers Nuggets tonight on TNT. Only one game tonight, and then one game tomorrow on Thursday night, Raptors 76ers. Thanks for tuning in to the I Can Do Anything podcast. This episode was brought to you by Landscaped. Are there any homeowners out there? If you own a home, in most cases you know that you're going to have some yard work. Landscaped is here to help. Landscaped takes pride in having the most extensive catalog of outdoor tools, appliances, furniture, lighting, materials, decor, power supplies, pool and spa, gardening, recreation, water and irrigation, accessories, and more. Visit our stores across the United States to receive help from our trained landscape architects, take classes and listen to seminars on a wide variety of topics and focus areas, including Gardening 101, Homeowners Construction Best Practices, Insect and Pest Control and Behavior, Creative Materials Concepts, Pool and Spa Maintenance, Fencing and Perimeter Design, Owning Your Space, and many, many more. Visit us online at landscaped.com/anything. to receive $10 off your first order of $50 or more and $50 off any order of $300 or more. That's Landscaped.com/anything, a special savings for listeners of the I Can Do Anything podcast. Landscaped.com. Okay, thanks for listening, guys. I will be back on Friday I think I'm going to have a special guest on Friday. We'll talk to you then.